So the Canelo versus Crawford press conference was yesterday. This is a major boxing match, probably the biggest fight in boxing since Mayweather versus McGregor. And Dana White was exposed to actual journalists, and it definitely showed. I'll even show you the tweet I made um while I watched this, and I got some uh timestamps I want to go over, just to, so I keep this going smoothly. But yeah, this right here, I want you to compare this question to any question you have heard at any UFC press conference over the last year.
Go ahead. Who's next?
Quick one for me in the back on the riser. Canelo, if you can answer this one first. This is also for Bud Crawford. So everyone's been talking about the hype with this fight week and how different it is. And you guys both mentioned about what this can do for the sport of boxing. I wonder what era this fight can usher in for the sport.
Wow! Unbelievable, dude. Could you imagine if John Morgan opened up a press conference with that kind of question and wasn't befriending all the fighters on stage? But let's hear the response, and then I'll continue my rant here.
For well, I think fights like this help the sport of boxing, grow in a sense of having the best fight the best, and it ain't gonna do nothing but make the sport better, and the best gonna start fighting the best.
Yo, another question.
All right. So again, I'm trying to go over which timestamps I want to go over. Right there. Have we ever heard in the last year and a half, I'd say, a question like that revolving around a fight? And we just had DDP versus Hamzat. We just had Ilya Tapoya versus Charles Oliveira. We just had Volkanovski winning the belt back from off of Diego Lopez um after a rocky start, right? But why can't we get this kind of question at any of these major fights? Why can't these reporters help build the storyline of these fights? And storyline, whatever. You're not a big WWE fan. WWE rules apply to any kind of fight promotion. They apply to any kind of promotion, any storyline, right? But I want to move over to 610, where I believe um this is where Canelo is asked about David Benavidez and what he thinks about that fight.
Go ahead. Who's got the neck? Go ahead, sir.
Radio Raheem down here for Canelo. As big as this fight is, as much anticipation as there has been, pundits and fans still will call for David Benavidez once this fight is done. Is that a fight that you can see happening before the end of your career?
Uh, Look, I never say no to anything. We'll see later. But I'm focused 100% on this fight.
Alright, so he's asked about David Benavidez. David Benavidez, if I can spell David, he is. Where is he here? David Benavidez. Okay, so he's 28, 30 and 0. Alright. So he's won his last two fights by unanimous decision. Knocked out Demetrius Andrade, knocked out corner stoppage over David Lemieux. Cameron Davis knocked out Ronald Ellis, not the Romer. So again, on a tear, I don't really get to come up with, you know, again, we're trying to build interesting fights beyond this fight, so fans are interested after this one major card. I know it's an insane thing to think about, hyping up future fights at the press conference. Crazy, I know, but I mean, again, I get it. You get 4 minutes to befriend every fighter, and you can't wait until go into the back and just talking to them, because I guarantee you, somebody like John Morgan and the rest of them get that opportunity. They also interview them on their channels and on their networks.
You you brought Boots Ennis into camp.
All right, that's the question about boots. Let's now go to 9-10. Now, this is where the big question about Ilya Taporia going into boxing, because he has been talking about facing not Canelo, Terrence Crawford. He posted that picture onto X saying, "Hey, are you guys interested in this fight?" This is his response.
For a reason, and God don't make no mistakes.
And one last one for you, Dana. You're now officially promoting boxing shows. We have UFC lightweight champion Ilya Taporia saying he's going to knock out Terrence Crawford. Can we expect some crossover boxing matches like you did with Mayweather and McGregor moving forward?
I certainly hope not.
Good. Good, Dana. You actually want to keep your biggest star, but I think it's inevitable because, Ilya really wants to fight Crawford. I think that if Crawford wins this fight, it's 100% a major, major fight that Ilya can have. And again, Ilya said, I want to be out of MMA by 30, and I believe he is going to go on to have a ton of big boxing fights in his early 30s and then hang it up. Um, but yeah, definitely, um, it definitely intrigues me. I'm a huge Ilya fan after he beat all my favorite fighters, and I want to see these fighters make their money. Um, I'm not a hypocrite. As much as would love for Ilya to retire, have a long career in MMA, I get the writing on the wall is there. Now we need to go to it's about to come up here. This is the about the gate and uh Connor Floyd. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Couple questions for Dana. Dana, this fight, as you said earlier in the week, is set to be the
Oh, never mind. I forgot. This is where Dana gets cooked. I made notes completely wrong. It starts off with the gate, but this is what happens when Dana White faces a real journalist.
third highest gate in combat sports history, the second biggest gate you've promoted alongside Mayweather and McGregor. The top five gates in combat sports history come in boxing, and they come in the last 10 years. So my question to you is, why then do you want to make sweeping changes to the Muhammad Ali Reform Act that is meant to protect fighters to bring about a business model that currently has your company already paid out $375 million in antitrust lawsuits and has two potential pending class action lawsuits on the way as well?
Wow! There we go. Dana White has to respond to a real question. Again, these are talking points that a lot of us, in the MMA YouTube scene and the MMA TikTok scene, have been talking about. And I'm completely against um getting rid of the Ali Act just to impose this fight model that is not working. You have to get rid of pay per view. You're moving over to Paramount, and fighters are disinterested. Fighters are upset with the UFC. Fans are upset with the UFC. Netflix laughed at them when they tried to, um, discuss the deal, right? Um, but again, let's hear Dana White's response.
Well, this is obviously a long discussion. If you want to talk to me about that, set up an interview. This isn't about me and my business. It's about these two guys on Saturday night.
My follow-up, Dana.
Set up an interview. Like, you only do interviews with the Nelk boys. You only do interviews with people around there. You do skits with OnlyFans models and Nina Drama. Do an interview then. 100% this guy should set up an interview, announce like he is, and let's see if Dana White actually takes it. Because there are a lot of questions that you don't need to be an MMA hardcore or whatever you want to call it to realize these glaring issues with fighter pay, with the, again, promotion. This is a press conference in order to promote this fight on Saturday, right? Dana White, with that response, shows he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to create any controversy. Play the heel of Dana. Go Vince McMahon mode. Just be like, yeah, I want to get rid of the OA Act. I want to have control. And I want to do exactly what I did in the UFC and build boxing to be the best on best. That's what he should have said. But no.
Earlier this week, the California State Athletic Commission
I think this guy adds. Yeah.
had a heated hearing about TKO trying to bring those changes to the
yeah.
Ali Act, and it was postponed 3 months.
Listen, I get it. You want to showboat right now. Set up an interview with me if this is really what you want to talk about.
It's America, baby.
You have
First
questions
Amendment.
for these two.
How is he showboating when he's asking you real questions, Dana White? God, man. It's crazy when you're not asked a question about Dana White Contender Series or Cooking with Dana White or Fuck It Friday if he even still does it. Whatever the fuck it's called. These are actual questions, Dana White. Answer them.
Ask him and you can set up an interview with me.
Dana, my follow-up is, if TKO can't make those changes to the Ali Act, will you still invest in the sport of boxing? Will you compete in the market?
Listen.
Big question right here. Even though he did say all these years the Muhammad Ali Act is the reason he has not entered boxing. And now he's making a major push with TKO backing him. We know his relationship with Trump, right? Trump, also has a big relationship with Mike Tyson and several other boxers, right? This is fucking pathetic, dude. If you can't answer questions, let anybody else do this. Bring over John Anik. Give John Anik the spotlight. John Anik is terrific in most press conferences.
Listen, if you want to be an asshole, let's do it in private and we can do an interview.
How is he being an asshole? If you want to be an asshole, man, if you want to ask me real questions about how I run my business and ask genuine criticism that everybody has been bringing up for decades now, every major fighter who's left your promotion has brought this up for decades. And the All Act was a major, major point in building your Floyd Mayweathers, your Mike Tyson's, all Canelo Alvarez, Crawford, all these big stars, and it guarantees them that they know what they're fighting for. They know how much money they're going to bring in, and they get a fair portion of it. Every other sport works that way. NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB. There's no way he's coming into boxing. There's no way he promotes another boxing fight. He may promote him. There's no way he's doing another press conference.
Yes or
If
no?
you want a showboat, I get it. If you have questions for these two that are fighting on Saturday, that's a different story.
Fight.
This isn't a discussion to have at a press conference for these two that are going to fight on Saturday, two legends. If you want to set up an interview with me and ask me these questions, let's do it one-on-one.
Sounds good.
You can ask me anything you want.
So, all right. Well, Terrence and Saul have a good fight.
Yeah, you have a question for these two?
No.
No?
That a boy, man. That a boy. Shout out to him. He's been covering the sport for quite some time. I've learned in my 5 minutes of research on the guy. But Dana White could not answer a simple question. We then move on to 16:30. I'll go to 16. I can get on 25. Canelo Alvarez is asked his motivations, but again, listen to how they ask this question. Go pull up the UFC 3. I don't know if I got caught on camera. Oh, ow. It burns. Whatever. Well, go look at the UFC 316, UFC 317 press conference, even the UFC 319 press conference, and compare the questions that these guys are asking. My eyes ain't getting any fucking better. Compare it to the questions being asked recently in MMA. But let's play it.
¿Qué es lo que te mantiene motivado para seguir aceptando o buscando este
Spanish,
tipo de
I forgot.
retos?
So you have nothing else to show or to prove. You've done everything. What keeps you motivated to continue to tackle these challenges?
Este tipo de retos, este tipo de peleas, grandes peleas, hacer historia es lo que me mantiene motivado. Amo el boxeo, sigo disfrutando mucho mis campamentos, sigo disfrutando mucho el entrenamiento, las peleas, y eso es lo que me mantiene motivado, estas peleas grandes.
These fights, these stages, these big fights, it's making history. That's what keeps me motivated. I love my camp. I love doing camp. I love going through camps for this. This is what keeps me motivated.
You see the difference in that question? You see the difference between that and, oh, what does this do for your legacy? We actually got a question of, hey, this is a major fight. You're fighting Crawford. This will be a big win for you, even though he's smaller than you. What do you think this does for boxing, for not only you, but for the rest of boxing as a whole? We do not get that kind of constructive question anywhere in the UFC. We then move on to, I think, 1847, I put it. We will go at 1845.
No suceda lo que ocurrió en tu última pelea.
So you spend your entire life pretty much preparing for people that are going to be bigger than you. And this time is a blast from the past. You're looking at training somebody who is more mobile, faster. What did you have to do, and what do you have to do for things on Saturday to be different than your last fight?
Sabes, ya no había necesitado de muchas cosas de mi boxeo para este tipo de peleadores, obviamente, porque estaban más grandes que yo, más pesados que yo, pero ahora tuvimos que regresar a lo básico, ¿no? Hacer lo que sabemos hacer, repasar todo lo que sabemos hacer, la rapidez, la fortaleza, el movimiento de cintura, las piernas. Trabajamos en todo para esta pelea porque sabemos que lo vamos a necesitar.
For quite some time, I didn't have to use many of these elements because the fighters were always bigger. Now we had to go back to the basics. Look at the speed, look at the power, look at the movement, the hips, everything else, and we know what we need to do to win.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Like, look at the sophistication in these questions, man. These are actual questions. Like, I could get so many more views if they fucking did it in the UFC, man. Fuck, dude. But Dana White's never gonna do this. Dana White, if he gets into boxing, it's gonna be fucking John Morgan, or it's gonna be a clone of him who just comes in. They're a major fan like all of us, but they're too fucking afraid to answer any real question or ask any real questions, because when somebody did, like Helwani, and I get it, you revoked his pass for the UFC 200 thing, you fucking crumble up, man. God, man. We then move on to 250 20.7. I'll give us an extra 5 seconds here. This is where, okay, I got it right. This is where Canelo's purse is kind of confirmed. It's asked to Turkish Sheikh.
Ahí está Canelo. $100 millones.
You can be on Saturday the historic person that will award Saul Canelo Alvarez for the first time a Mexican sports figure with a guaranteed purse of at least $100 million. How do you feel about that?
No, you get the number wrong. The contract between us and Canelo more than that.
Hey.
Los números están malos. El contrato es
Let's go. The way he said that too, you know he's not lying. It's not like Dana White where he's like, look, these kids get paid. This is a big opportunity. And when they show up here and they fight and they fight consistently, we reward them with an extra 15K. They do really good, they get an extra 50K on top of their salary. Is it not a coincidence that we only get the big fights in Turkish Sheikh comes around during Abu Dhabi? Any of the biggest UFC events even recently, he's had something to do with it. I then want to end off with the gentleman in the middle. Max Kellerman. Now, I'm gonna put it up front. Not a big fan of Kellerman as a reporter, as a sports, personality in that. But he is a true fan, and what he says at the end of his press conference, after I showed you what Dana White, how Dana White responded to actual boxing reporters, listen to this one and compare it to what I showed you throughout this entire video.
All right, let me pick up where Bud just left off. I see you, Shakur. Look, what does it feel like? A lot of boxing fans here. So I'm a boxing fan. I know what this feels like. It feels like your birthday or it's a holiday or something. You're about to open a present when you get a fight like this. Am I right? It feels so... Let me tell you why boxing might be entering a golden age right now, and this super fight, which is the biggest fight in a decade, might set it off. Because you all love boxing, right? I mean, especially Mexican and Mexican-American fans, you've been keeping boxing alive. And for the first time in so long, the people bringing you this present love boxing. Let me start with His Excellency, Turkey Al-Sheikh. Let me start with him because if he's never born, none of us are here right now. This was his idea. And then Dana White. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter in my lifetime.
100%. 100% Dana White is the greatest promoter, my biggest inspiration in big business. This is fucking pathetic, man.
He built an institution. You know why boxing's not as popular as it used to be anymore, right? UFC is really popular. That's because of Dana White. He built something like the NBA. Stop now, because he's about to do it for boxing again. For boxing now. You want an NBA or an NFL in boxing? Here it comes. Because he knows how to build an institution. And how do you do that?
Hey, Max. Boxing is always bigger and big. Don't say boxing is not big enough. Boxing is big. You know how big is boxing.
Should it get bigger, yes or no? Should it get bigger, Canelo?
Maybe it's going to be bigger, but look, boxing is always big and big and bigger and bigger and bigger. We need to talk about that too. Boxing is boxing.
I love Canelo in English, by the way. I love
Boxing
it.
is boxing.
No lies. No lies.
Comparison.
How
No
do you do it?
comparison there.
So how do you do it? You have someone like...
My respect for the sport. Great job, everything, but boxing is boxing.
You have someone like Turkey Al-Sheikh. You have someone like Dana White. And then you go out and get the most competent executive there is. That's Nick Khan. WWE's own Nick Khan. Guys, this is who's bringing you the...
Yeah. WWE fans are heavily disagreeing right now. But again, this is a super team of promoters when they are on their game. 100%. I will not take that away from what Max Kellerman is saying.
The event. This event will be the most watched boxing match. I mean, championship level boxing match. I see you, Lennox. Championship level boxing match in almost 50 years because of Netflix. More people will watch this than any fight since Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in 1978. And what we have here are two of the all-time greats. Canelo Alvarez is not just one of the greatest fighters in the history of Mexico. He's one of the greatest fighters, period. And when you're being compared to Mexican legends like Julio Cesar Chavez and Salvador Sanchez, you know you've done something right. And Terrence Crawford, let's be honest, has never come close to losing a fight in his entire career. He's never come close. When people my age tell you about Hagler and Leonard and Duran and Tommy Hearns and those kind of fighters, and by the way, Sanchez and Gomez and the great fights from years ago, this is one of those, and you're all a part of it. Canelo, you have anything else to say?
You're right there.
Bud?
Whoa! See y'all tomorrow.
Before we go, I can't hear the chant. What are they chanting?
¿Cómo? Hayete.
That is a true fan speaking the real fight fan. Speaking the real boxing fan. This is the most energy I've seen around a fight all year. And it's because they have brilliant reporters. They have brilliant media members who ask the hard questions. They have Turkey Al Sheikh getting really invested in the boxing and wanting to take over. And then you have Dana fucking White again. If you cannot do this anymore, get somebody else to do it. Get Hunter Campbell to run press conferences. Get John Anik, like I said. Bring back Bruce Buffer. Not Bruce. Mike Goldberg. Bring him back. Let him do the press conferences. You don't want him on commentary? Well, there you go. Fuck, man. It's infuriating, but should be a really good fight. Really interested to see the outcome of this main event, and if Crawford wins this, Ilya Taporia wants him, and if Ilya Taporia really accomplishes all everything he sets out to accomplish, calls all of his shots, that is another story we'll have to get to. But let me know, what did you think about this Canelo Crawford press conference? What did you think about Dana White being asked real questions by real reporters? And do you think he does another boxing press conference? Let me know in the comments down below. Stay safe. God bless you all. Again, it's been such a fucking horrific, really, I mean, horrific decade, really. When you really want to get into it, but a lot of evils at play right now, I feel, and again, it should not be a matter of what side you're on. It's, innocent people dying, children, you know, losing their parents, and worse, everything going on in Gaza. You had a buddy there who, was caught with a young kid, and that woman who's extremely pro Israel, and that let him out, and he flew back to Israel right after getting caught. Shepardton, but again, that's just a unilateral thing with all of them, but whatever. I hope that at least, and at the least, this video gave you a bit of joy, whether you're laughing with me or laughing at me. And God bless you all. Stay safe.